Earlier in the video, I mentioned that in my opinion, Greek life cultivates a culture of sexual immorality. You'll see a lot of this on display at their social events like the parties, the step shows, and the probates. Now, I gotta admit, I didn't do a whole lot of partying in undergrad. What can I say? I got 2 left feet. Actual footage of me dancing at a party. But I did love going to the step shows and the probates. If you don't know what a step show is, go watch the movie Stomp the Yard. It'll explain everything. According to Step Africa, stepping is a style of dance where your body literally becomes an instrument. So you use it to step, clap, and perform spoken word. Now, I still appreciate step shows to this day because I feel like they showcased a lot of Black talent in a space where it could be celebrated. The singing, the dancing, and the creativity that you get to see at step shows and probates is something that I just absolutely have to applaud. Performance is an art that has been perfected by BGLOs, in my opinion. I said what I said. But even in the beauty of it all, there are parts of some of these performance pieces that aren't so pretty. Probates and special presentations, whatever you want to call it, probably some of the most anticipated events of the school year for Black students. A probate is a ceremony where the fraternities and the sororities showcase their newest members to the entire campus. And it's usually a public event, so people invite family, friends, extended family, and everybody in between. There's a lot of anticipation built up at these probates because most of this is done in secret, so nobody really is supposed to know who's online until it's revealed at the probate. If you're wondering why people call it a probate, it's because the initiates are considered to be on probation until they have officially become members of the organization. Probate. So what happens is the new people usually come out in masks. Sometimes sororities will have girls in wigs or sunglasses, something to hide their identity. At most probates, you're going to see some type of skits performed.
I'm not going to believe this, but I didn't get the breakfast. What? Hell no!
There will most definitely be singing. You're going to hear the organization's history being recited really fast.
Founded January 16, 1920 on the campus of Howard University, Washington, D.C. by the triumphant Arizona Cleaver Simmons, the triumphant Pearl Ann O'Neill, the triumphant Myrtle Tyler Faithful, the triumphant Viola Tyler Goings, the triumphant Fannie Petty Watts, from the principles of scholarship, service, sisterly love, and idealifying our womanhood.
And you're probably going to see them perform their organization's signature routines. But it's also possible that you may see some performances that are extremely seductive and sexual. I'ma keep it a buck with y'all. Some of these probates are flat out raunchy.
Oh yeah, the one that be like, hey kitty kitty, hey kitty kitty kitty. Yes sir, I for sure want to play with that kitty.
Much from the sororities, although some of the dancing at these parties and step shows can be a bit suggestive. It's usually the guys who are blatantly in your face nasty. Interestingly enough, there's a reason why fraternities have routines that are raunchy and sororities usually do not. For anybody who's interested in learning more about the history and culture of BGLOs, I recommend you reading the book African American Fraternities and Sororities. In the chapter entitled Variegated Roots by author Carol D. Branch, She talks about the origins of the crude joking and attributes it to the mainstream preconception of the oversexed black male. Branch states that
the overt sexuality found in the braggadocio of jokes and toasts is continued in the party chants and steps of black fraternities. This exaggeration of the sexual abilities of the performers raises the street stature of the individual and thus the organization. These behaviors stay firmly in the aesthetic of these oral phenomena by exploiting the idea of the over-endowed, extremely sexual black male. This is illustrated by the existence of chants such as the following.
This leg, well, it's my hurt leg. This leg, well, it's all right. This leg points to the window. This leg points to the wall. This leg, well, it's my third leg, and it races down the hall.
This step was performed by members of Alpha Phi Alpha at a 1996 yard show at UCLA. At the end of the performance, the audience laughed and whooped at the antics of the entertainers, understanding that the step routine was a satire of the long-lived stereotype of black men.
Branch goes on to say that
sororities rarely perform routines drawing on a hypersexual stereotype. Kirsten Smith, artistic director of Step Africa, states that when she attended college in the 1980s, sexually explicit themes were only carried out by the men and were only done at the block show where very few elders attended. This was a picnic thrown by the students for the students. Sexually explicit themes were never meant to be performed at the step show during homecoming where families attended. I have never heard of sexually explicit themes done by women at the graduate level. To brazenly spew sexually explicit themes in the name of any public service sorority or fraternity is the ultimate form of disrespect to our elders and to our respective organizations. Rather than draw on overt sexual imagery, sororities such as Sigma Gamma Rho and AKA brag about their members' ability to take any woman's man and to be the object of all men's desires.
This is my pinky, and this is my hand. It's just like an AKA to take your man. So do yourself a favor, put your man on a leash, because he'd rather be with beauty than to be with us.
Now let's look at all this from a biblical perspective. Ephesians 5:1 says,
Therefore be imitators of God, as dearly loved children, and walk in love as the Messiah also loved us and gave himself for us, a sacrificial and fragrant offering to God. But sexual immorality and any impurity or greed should not even be heard of among you, as is proper for saints. Coarse and foolish talking or crude joking are not suitable, but rather giving thanks. For no one recognizes this. Every sexually immoral or impure or greedy person who is an idolater does not have an inheritance in the kingdom of the Messiah and of God.
Based on that alone, I think it's safe to say that Christians should not be performing in public strip shows or reciting sexual innuendos. In Song of Solomon 8:4, it says, Young women of Jerusalem, I charge you, do not stir up or awaken love until the appropriate time. So ladies, don't be impressed by a cute dog humping the floor. And if a Sigma asks you if you had your wood today, you tell him,
Get the stepping!
a matter of fact, if a noob call you talking about some,
A noob is damn near flawless, leaving girls drawless. A noob is all this.
you hit him with the, that's it, that's all. And to the guys who want to pledge a fraternity, consider whether or not you would be willing to compromise by doing any kind of sexual performance. And in front of your mama at that. And also consider whether or not you want to surround yourself with other men who are not only playing the role of a pervert for a step show, but also practicing being a pervert behind closed doors. And that goes for any of your friends, fraternity or not. Remember what the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 15:33.
Bad company corrupts good character.
Nasty!
As Christians, we already know that premarital sex is wrong, so it's best to not even flirt with the appearance of it. And circling back to the ladies, ask yourself, is it a godly aspiration to want to be the object of all men's desires?
Oh, hell no!
Listen to Solomon. Don't awaken love before it's time. Some of these fraternity men will break your heart, girl! And keep this in mind too. We have the responsibility as believers to treat each other as brothers and sisters in Christ. Love won't try to seduce somebody that you're not married to, and it would not boast in the idea that you could take somebody else's man. Well, That's all I got for you guys in this video, but if you enjoyed it, be sure to give me a thumbs up and share it on your social media platforms. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Last but not least, be on the lookout for my next video on hazing. Trust me when I say you won't want to miss it. Shalom, grace and peace.